All right, here we are. So hopefully I'm actually live. I don't know. Maybe somebody will comment, let us know. But I decided to throw a live stream together at the last minute. We haven't done one of these for a while. I've kind of missed doing one and just trying some stuff. For those of you that haven't been paying attention to the channel and the reviews and everything like that, Brian is still working on his PhD, but he's really, really close to being done, and he will be back later this summer. And then our good boy Chuck is, unfortunately for all you ladies out there, off the market and is officially married, and he is in Greece right now. Recording. He promised at one point that, he would like come on from the honeymoon, but I'm pretty sure when you get married, things change and what you want doesn't really happen. So I don't think he'll be showing up. But anyway, with all of that, I have a good buddy out in Chicago that agreed to come on, and he sent me some samples of some bourbons I've been wanting to try. And he's a big Marvel fanatic. And when it's just me and him, we love talking comics. And I was like, hey, why not? Let's drink some bourbon and talk some comics. So that is what we're going to do tonight. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring my buddy Cody on. Hey.
What's going on, man?
Hey. Oh, not too much. Just sitting back, excited to drink these wonderful samples you sent me.
Yes. I cannot wait. We got some good ones tonight.
So the first one we are going to do is one I've been excited to try. So Jack Daniel's has been doing some amazing special releases. Unfortunately, Jack Daniel's hates Kentucky, something about Tennessee, Kentucky, who's got the better bourbon. I don't know. So I've never seen one of these specialty bottles. Brian has a Coy Hill. Chuck has like a Jack 12. Cody over here has the twice barreled. I think you've got like two of them. Isn't that the case?
This is actually my third one. Yeah.
Oh gosh, so your third one.
I loved it that much.
And I still haven't seen anything. But rumor has it Kentucky, I get a couple other things that you guys don't get. I don't know. I don't believe it, but
I've heard you're fairly close to like bourbon. Like I don't know, like relatively how close, but I've heard you're fairly close.
Close enough that when I'm at work and the Facebook groups start pinging off like the distillery just released this, I'm like, oh, I wish I didn't have a job, but I do. Apparently, paying the bills is important. But anyway, the Jack Daniel's twice barreled, for those of you guys that don't know, that was last year's limited release. This year is going to be barrel proof rye, which is starting to hit the markets. But that is the sexy bottle. It's the same as the barrel proof bottles and everything like that. But this is a American malt, a single malt. So this is a category that is starting to get a lot of popularity in the United States. So much so they're actually looking at making it a specialized category and a protected category and everything like that, which will be really cool. But this one is finished in sherry casks, right?
It is Oloroso sherry casks. Yep.
Okay. So 100% single malt, finished in sherry cask, twice barreled. So according to the backstory with Jack is it wasn't ready or at the level they wanted it. So they just wanted to add some sweetness. That's where they did the sherry, put all that in there, let it go in that for a little bit longer. And that's what we got. So let's see what we think. I'm assuming by the fact that you got the third bottle there that you just kind of really like it.
Yeah. It's easily one of my favorite bourbons from last year. Well, I guess not a bourbon, but one of my favorite whiskeys from last year. Yeah. Got turned on to it. I forgot where I got turned on to it, but it hit the market out by us. Missed out a couple opportunities to grab it. Sent my wife out one night just hunting as she's prone to do for me, and she actually managed to grab the first one. In fact, she managed to grab two of the three. But it's I enjoyed the first bottle so much that I went hunting for two more.
Mm-hmm. So David here asks, has anyone seen the barrel proof rye yet? Where I know he's out in Texas, so he's about 2 months behind. So
I have. You know what? It's funny. I didn't even realize that was I knew it's out. I didn't realize that was this year's special edition. I actually had an opportunity to buy one 10 minutes ago.
Oh gosh!
And so Tim and I were talking before we came on live, and he knows I purchased something else.
and I was offered it at MSRP. He's like, hey, I got it in the back if you want it. And this guy's been a wonderful. Actually, it's the purveyor of your guys' Bourbon of the Year or Whiskey of the Year last year.
Oh, okay.
And it was my buddy named Ed from Safeway up here, and Ed continually offers me stuff that later on I regret not buying. Offered me Knob Creek 18. And I was like, no, I want to go try to get it for $25 less. And then I missed out on everything. And I, ended up overpaying for it. I forgot what else he's offered me in the past. But now that I realize I just passed on another Jack special edition, like I'm really kind of upset with myself.
Yeah, basically with Jack, if it comes in that bottle, you probably should just say yes.
and I didn't even see it. And I knew it was out there. And I just hadn't been paying attention. Because lately, when it comes to Jack Daniels, my focus has been the 12-year has been hitting around here, the 10 and 12-year. My wife actually managed to find me a 10-year, but haven't been able to find the 12-year. So, and I was super focused in on what we had talked about earlier. So I wasn't really like open for other suggestions, but but yeah, I passed on it. I feel like an idiot.
So David says I thought it's supposed to be part of the regular lineup. It is. How available it'll be, I do not know. I used to be able to find Jack Daniel's single barrel proofs, and that's pretty much dried up in the Louisville area. I know like Old Forester, the rye single barrels were supposed to be relatively regular, and I've seen like one of those, and I've never even had the option to buy it. So hopefully it does become pretty regular. And maybe it will become like store picks and things like that, which would be nice. I don't see Jack really holding back those things, because even the Jack 10 and the Jack 12 are supposed to be not always on the shelf, but very seasonal. So
yeah, you're supposed to be able to find them pretty regularly.
Yeah.
Because the 10 year, this is the second batch of the 10 year that they've done.
Yes.
And I've had the first one, which I really liked, and I'm iffy on batch 2.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think here? Am I way far off on this one?
All right, David, I'll definitely let you know. Right now I'm still nursing my other one, so I'm good for now. It's got a very sweet nose. It doesn't have the sherry. So there's some sherry finishes that have like this drying super sweetness that is kind of off-putting a little bit, and it doesn't have that. It just has the sweet note to it, which I really like. And I was going to bring that up. So one of the advantages to living in Kentucky is I'm part of the Jim Beam subscription service, and this month they sent us their American whiskey, which is $60. And this is not good. I would not recommend this. We'll do a review and I'll let Chuck go at it. And Chuck is going to probably just tear this one apart. This is well balanced and everything like that. It makes me think that it's the sherry notes that are doing it to it, because the Claremont Steep is very tea, drying, grainy, which I could see that if with the way they talked with their press release, so that's probably what they were getting. And so they added the sherry and sweetened it up and everything like that. Because when I'm going into single malt, naturally, the next thing I'm going to be comparing it to is scotches. Yeah. And it's got to be better than a scotch. Otherwise, I'm just going to buy a scotch. And I would say the Jack is better than several scotches I've tried.
So the thing for me about this one that really sticks out, and obviously we can jump into some of the tasting notes in a minute, but like the thing for me that really stuck out about this is that like when I think about Jack Daniels and some of the Jack Daniel products, this has been the first one that I've truly fallen in love with. And it's I guess I shouldn't be surprised by the fact that Jack Daniels can do a specialty product like this, and it's just unbelievable. And let it be known, folks, before anybody like jumps in the comments and it's like, what does he mean? Like, I haven't had Coy Hill. I haven't had any of the Coy Hills. I haven't had any of the other specialty ones until I've had this one. And I tried it, and it just blew me away. Like, I was like, this is fantastic. To me, it tastes like almost like it sounds odd, but like a fruity chocolate milk. Like it has that type of flavoring to it. And they say on the little tag, is beautiful little tag, says chocolate covered nuts and berries and a subtle sherry finish. I totally pick up on a lot of the chocolate. Now, my first bottle was way more towards that chocolatey edge. This is a little bit
a little bit sweeter. But yeah, this is wonderful whiskey. Now I'm hesitant to go to any of the other American single malts. I know that like Yellowstone just brought out one, and I was like,
Yep.
"Ooh, should I try that?" And I was like, Yellowstone has done me dirty lately. TJ knows I was hunting for Yellowstone 101 for a little bit, and I bought last year's, and I won't say because my wife might watch this, but yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, Chuck and I were not a fan of last year's Yellowstone 101, unfortunately, and we've been fans of others. I think what it comes down to is American single malt is going to be a new category that is going to gain a lot of popularity. And your best bet is to find a cheaper version of it and try that before you go out and buy a $60 one. However, having tried the Jack and the Claremont Steep and a couple others, if I'm going to go the expensive route, I'm probably going to want to do one that's finished in something because I feel like it truly balances everything out. Because, for the Jack, on the nose, you're just getting all those sweet sherry notes. Then on the palate, it is very much like at the bottom of a cereal box, all that dry cereal notes get on there with a little bit of chocolate. And then the finish goes back into like a drying oak with some sherry in there. So overall, very good.
It's funny the way you say that, like, because like I could totally picture, how like when you would get like, cereal and you pour out the bag, like get to the bottom of the bag and there's the cereal dust that's down there. I could totally picture this being like you had a little bit of like cocoa pebbles and a little bit of fruity pebbles, and you were just like, you didn't have enough for one bowl. So you were just like, and took it all together at once. And it was just, that's a perfect way to describe it. What you just said.
Yeah. And I like it too because the sherry doesn't overpower. I've had a lot of sherry finished bourbons that the sherry just overpowers everything and it gives it to me an off-putting note. I'm guessing it's just because I'm not a huge sherry fan, but this one's very nicely balanced across the board and wonderful. So, I mean, I don't know how lucky you are, but I know also it's still Jack Daniels, and there's a lot of people that see Jack and they're like, oh, that's terrible bourbon. I'm not going to try it. And yes, Jack is bourbon. Shoot me, Tennessee. But it's not your old number 7 Jack. It's good. It's barrel proof, regular single barrel Jack. It's good. With a little bit of a twist, which is kind of nice. So
yeah, I mean that's what I was mentioning. It's like I had that perception of Jack Daniels, like just thinking of straight old number 7, and it's like Jack Daniels is. How TJ, help me out here. Are they like one of, if not the largest distillery in the world? Like as far as like,
well, they're part of Old Forester, Brown Foreman, all of that. So they're up there because they do a lot of exports, and so does Jim Beam and everything like that. So
I guess where I was going with that is I shouldn't be surprised that a company that size, when they decide to do something special, can truly put out something special. Like, they do old number 7 because that has a place in the world, right? Every place, every establishment you walk into ever is going to have old number 7. But when they want to do something special, they get it right. And this is just awesome.
Yeah, and they're a lot like Maker's Mark. They have that base product that everyone knows is good and they can depend on. And that's why they don't have, same with Makers. They don't have aged product because they're making the base product. And they know that's what's going to sell all the money and everything like that. Like the limited editions are great for those of us that are fanboys and everything like that. But at the end of the day, the company's there to make money. And that's why they just partnered with Coke. And now there's official Jack and Cokes in cans that you can buy because the RTDs and the old number 7 is what's going to make the company a ton of money. Then they can experiment with these one-off products and do something fun.
I totally agree. Which I know that's not what we're here for, but have you seen the Costco box set of the 3, like the Staves edition, where they're talking about like the 19, the 20, and the 21?
Mm-hmm.
Have you tried them?
No, I have not.
Okay. They're like down here, they're like $30 now.
Yeah, they're finally dropping really cheap. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not as big of a Makers fan as you are, but I almost want to buy it just because I was doing the math in my head, like at $30.
Yeah.
I know it's 75.
but
it's a good deal. Yeah,
come on.
absolutely. So, all right, David says, let him hate on Jack, more for us. That being said, I haven't come close to getting 12. Yeah. I'm not going to say who his name is, Chuck. His boss just was like, here, I don't like bourbon. Somebody gave me this. Would you like a Jack 12? And that's how he got his. And he luckily, was nice enough to let me try it. And it's amazing. It is really, really good.
So what's crazy is that, like, I was just talking to Ed about this, and the wild thing is, like, up here, the Chicagoland area, people are buying them up, like that. But the thing is, a lot of these people, to the point about Jack, they don't want them to drink them. They want them to trade for them,
Yes.
So they're going after, the E.H. Taylor barrel proofs and whatever else they can get, the Blanton straight from the barrel. They have no intention of actually drinking these Jack Daniel 12s. And if that's what's so upsetting, is because love the 10. I know I'm going to love the 12, and I can't get a hold of it because I have people up here hoarding it. So, David, to your point about more for us, for me, it's less for me. I know I'm hoarding a little bit of twice barrel, but I mean, I usually
you've drank pretty much all of it. Like, you're not just
No, yeah. I mean, my third one, I have this one open, and my second one that's on the shelf, that one is staying because it's there for the long haul. I'm hoping to have that with the baby when it's old enough. So
yeah. So yeah, but no, yeah, the Jack 12, if you see it, it's worth sleeping on the couch a night for. It's that good. Again, Kentucky, man, I haven't seen anything. So I think they just kind of hate us. And then, like, the other one that we really like is the Dickel 15, and we can't find it over 45 proof or something like that or 45% alcohol. So whatever that is, 90 proof. We're lucky if we get up to the 100 range, but over 100, I've only seen one. They're like, nope, we're not sending that stuff to you guys in Kentucky. Sorry.
Have you done the Dickel? What is it? The Dickel 17?
No, that's a little too expensive for a little too much. Like, at that point, like, I could buy almost 3 Dickel 15s, and you can't tell me that couple ages is worth, like,
the 2 years is worth $200.
Yeah, exactly. No thanks. Okay. I'll just go with that. And the 15s you can find way higher proof, whereas the 17 is, I think, like in the 90s, maybe 100, somewhere around there. So
okay. Yeah. I've seen one sitting out, and I've seen some reviews on it, and I mean, it's cool that it's super aged. Like, it's cool that it's 17-year-old whiskey, but I can't bring myself to spend the money that they want for it.
Yeah, it's a little too much for me. So now I will say, so we did, what is it, last weekend, 2 weekends ago? I don't know. It's been a while. It's the end of the school year for me. Like, my brain is fried. I just got to make it 3 more days. That's all I need. We had Chuck's wedding and his wedding rehearsal, and the place he picked, this was amazing. They had the entire BTAC lineup for $30 a pour individually. So I got a William E. Weller for $30. I went George T. Stagg for 30. Like, I was having a grand old time. It was wonderful. Of course,
maybe I'm spending all the money.
Exactly. Chuck was a groom, so I made sure to buy him some. Brian was there because he was in the wedding party also, and we made sure to buy him some stuff. And it was like old times. It was crazy. But I was just looking at him.
That
And I was
should have been the live stream.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys review the BTAC collection at the wedding.
Yeah, that would have been quite humorous. Might have got some of us in trouble. Like, time out. Hold on the valves. We got to do this real quick.
Fantastic. David, we get the Dickel 15 somewhat regularly, most around 102 proof.
Yeah. David is the man. So I come home today today was the last full week of school. Okay. I'm just drained completely. I'm excited that we're going to do this live stream because, like I said, I haven't done a live stream for a while, but a little drained. So, I downed a whole bunch of coffee, and then I get a box just delivered to my house, and I open it up, and this man, David here, sent me 5 bottles of experimental TX bourbon and rye, and I'm super excited to try it.
So David's down in Texas, right?
Yes.
Okay. So how close is he to TX whiskey?
I think pretty dang close.
David, you got to throw it in the chat. Have you done one of Meat Church's barbecue classes at TX Whiskey? I want to know, how awesome was it?
And can I hold you because I just want to be close to those people. That's you know what I keep telling my wife I should because my best friend Kevin his brother lives down close to there, and I keep telling my wife we should go down there and visit. Why don't we leave the wives at home? You and I go down there. We do a barbecue class with Meat Church and drink some TX whiskey.
Okay, I'm game. I was Bourbon Pursuit did a raffle not too long ago. He says he's 20 minutes. Big word I can't say, but yeah, pescatarian, so no barbecue.
Oh,
me not so good at the English.
Pescatarian. Wait, hold on. I thought for a second that might be a town in Texas, and now I'm thinking it's a religion. Okay,
it's a religion.
So no barbecue. Okay, well we still love you, David.
All right, so next one is Stagg Batch 18. So did this still have the junior on the label?
It does not. It's right here. So wonderful story about this. I mean, not that it's relevant here, but I'll just give the story. So my wife and I, we fostered a doodle for the beginning of the year, and Tim knows we have 2 dogs. They're great. They're also doodles. And the day we brought that doodle home to foster him, we found out we were pregnant. So Stagg started hitting the market about 3 weeks later, and we had to give the dog up. The Forever Home had come to get it. And we were sending the dog to an area where I had a connection. And I said, we should stop in and say hello to the young man. And so I said, how awesome would it be that, we go there and he has a stag for me? And she's like, she says, that would be crazy. And I said, okay. I said, if he has a stag, we have to go home. We have to go back to the Forever Home and take the dog. she goes, seriously? I was like, yeah. I was like, we have to take the dog. And so we
named it Stag.
We should have named it Stag. His name is Marty, though. He was a great dog. Maui didn't like him, but he was a great dog. So we go drop him off. Big emotional moment. We're talking about the baby. We drive up to the liquor store because my wife didn't want to go to the liquor store. She was like, yeah, whatever. But I start turning towards the liquor store, and we pop in, and sure enough, the guy's like, hey, you want a stag? I got a stag. And I was like, this dog is so lucky. So it's my first stag. Incredibly hard to get these in the wild here.
Oh yeah, they don't exist down here either.
Yeah, and I actually had missed out a couple days before getting this. I had missed out by like a couple minutes to get one. So, but yeah, it doesn't have the Stag Junior on it, but doesn't have what's the labeling on them now, right? That differentiates because now it's like Batch A, Batch B, right? For every year.
Yeah, something like that. And some people have been. Yeah, I haven't followed it too closely because I never find it, and I'm just like, there's an internet site that you can just type in the proof, and then people will tell you exactly which one it is and everything like that. So, yeah.
We're not here to know things about bourbon. We're here to know that it tastes good.
Yeah. It is that Buffalo Trace nose, and it is just dark cherry with chocolate. It is delightful.
So I'd had a stag before this, actually at a restaurant right up the street from where we live here, and I was not a fan of that batch. I do not know what batch it was. I want to say it might be 17 or 17. Okay. I don't know. I know the batch before this was not widely loved. This, though, and I've somehow have not managed to get hooked on it yet, although the night is young.
Whew. High proof.
But good. Much better than the last batch I had. I don't know where it falls for you, but much better than the last batch of Stag I had.
Yeah, it's good. I don't know, so my father-in-law does bourbon shopping, and anytime he does bourbon shopping, I get 15 text messages, and I can, yes, this is good. No, this isn't. And he was texting the other day, they had up north in Indiana, 1 liter Buffalo Trace for, I think it was $45 or something like that. And I was like, he's like, got 5 other people that want them. There's no limit. Do you want one? I was like, no, I'm good. All this to say that, to be honest, the more I get into all of this, the less I'm becoming a fan of Buffalo Trace products. There's still a couple that I enjoy every now and then. But I think they're really I think Buffalo Trace does the best marketing out there. And whenever you first get into bourbon, you chase Buffalo Trace.
Have to.
Yeah, but the more I get into it, I drink definitely other stuff. And if anything, like, again, if I ever see Buffalo Trace products on the shelf, like a Blanton's, an Eagle Rare Store Pick or something like that, of course I'm going to buy it because other friends and things like that want a bottle, and it makes for great gifts. But I'm just not super like excited about this. And this one for me is just so ethanol forward and high proof. And it's just like, I don't know.
It's definitely not one that you jump into right away. Like, you'd have to warm up to this. We did, obviously, but this is definitely not something that I would just jump into. I guess, like, you can see my bottle and it's not that much down, right? And this will probably sit on my shelf for another probably year and a half. It's not one that I regularly reach for, although, like I said, I like this better than the last Stagg I had. But I know what you mean, and when you talk about like the Buffalo Trace products and you're like, hey, I'm just kind of over it, right? I think, you got me. For folks that don't know, TJ is the reason I got into bourbon. Like, he literally handed me a Kentucky Spirit, store pick one time at a Reds game. He's like, this is for you. And from that night on, it's become a problem in my
That's
house.
also why I'm not allowed in Chicago anymore, because his wife will kill me.
But I was saying to somebody today, I was like, I'm kind of experiencing a little bit of fatigue right now, right? Like, there are stuff that I've purchased where I realized, ooh, that was not a great purchase. But that being said, like, the opportunity to get a Stagg, like, you have to do it, because if you don't, you're probably not. I probably won't get another shot at a Stagg for another year and a half, maybe even longer.
Oh yeah.
So I'm at least happy the fact that this isn't as bad as the last one I had. And I really, to your point about the ethanol forward, I thought that one was completely ethanol forward. Like, just to the point where it was like, it was almost undrinkable. And I was like, wait, this is what everybody's talking about?
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, so Buffalo Trace has, and you can literally just Google like Buffalo Trace single barrel program. And anybody can sign up with an email address and you get put in the lottery and everything like that. So obviously Power of Bourbon is in there under me and under Chuck. We hope to get a bottle, but you could pick like, these are the bottles I'm willing to get. I definitely pick Stagg because I'm not going to say no to that, but
Right.
I'm not going to lie. Like, I did not pick Buffalo Trace. I did not pick, I don't think I clicked E.H. Taylor. I don't think I clicked Eagle Rare. I did click Blanton's on my list. I was like, yeah. So I think it's my three are Weller Full Proof, Stagg, and Blanton's, because I was like, if I had any of those three, like an entire barrel just sitting in my basement, I would be a happy man. Like, I wouldn't drink it very often, but it would be nice.
I just picture you with the barrel in the basement, just hugging it, just
Yes.
like not letting it go. Like, your wife being like, "Are you gonna go to work today?" We're like, "No, I'm just gonna
live in my barrel."
I'm just gonna massage the barrel a little bit, like actually naming the barrel.
But yeah, I mean, overall, it's good. It's definitely high proof. I don't know. I just anymore, like, I just compare it like Stagg Junior, whatever you want to call it, is going to be one of those really, really hard ones to find. And trying the Jack Daniels twice barreled, I get an option to have one, because that's generally how these limited releases work. Is it's on a table and it says limit one. Which one are you going to buy? I think I'd probably buy the Jack, having tried these, over the Stagg.
100%.
Now, if you're obviously looking at like, well, I don't want it and I want trade value or whatever, because you're going to trade with a buddy or something, I mean, Stagg's your better buy as far as that goes. But I generally don't do that. And I just drink everything. As soon as it comes home, it needs to be opened. Like, any unopened bottle in my house is just like giving me twitches. And I'm like, I need to give that a try.
100%. If somehow I knew what this Stagg was before I bought it, and I still had my, my Jack Daniels, if I knew, I wouldn't have opened this. I would have traded it for something else, because it's good. Like, it's, like I said, it's better than the benchmark I have for Stagg. But I certainly, I wouldn't purchase this again if this was offered to me this exact this exact version.
Right. But that, I mean, and then there's the argument that they're really smart at Buffalo Trace with all the Stagg Juniors or Stagg, whatever you want to call it, is each one's slightly different. So yeah, you had batch 18, batch 19 could be totally better. Like,
I got a hot take here for you too. I'm this close to being done with Blanton's. This close. Yeah. I'm really starting. For some reason, lately, when I've had it, and I have a couple right now because I'm trying to complete the Blanton's,
right?
Stave and everything. I'm one letter off, and my wife's like, "Well, you have so much Blanton's, like you should be drinking it, or if you're gonna, do old fashions, like just use Blanton's." Something about it lately has not been hitting the right note for me. I'm this close to being done with Blanton's.
Yeah, I keep mine on like wrong side, right there.
Right.
Yeah. It's good to have on the shelf because when you have friends over, it is a really good like intro to bourbon because it's right there at the 93 proof range, everything like that. They see the bottle and they're like, "Oh, that's bourbon." So for all those reasons, it's good to have on the shelf. But yeah, it's one that literally just sits there, and I'm just like, okay. And yeah, I'll pass it up. So again, because I live in Kentucky and everything like that, I get like alerts. Buffalo Trace has Blanton's today, so you could drive to the distillery. I think it's 45 minutes for me. Wait in line for an hour, get a bottle of Blanton's, be on the jail list for 90 days or whatever it is anymore, and then drive home. And I just don't do it because it's not really worth it.
I'm gonna need you to be willing to go on that list.
David's like, what letter you need?
T, David. I saw your comment. T. I need a T. I got a buddy that's got T right now, but I don't have a Blanton's to trade him because he needs Blanton's. So, but I need a T.
I don't even remember all the ones I've got a list somewhere. I'm just happy. The other day I did what I am so much more excited about than Blanton's. I completed the 4 Roses lineup. So I have every recipe on barrel strength of that. That's what I'm excited about. That is amazing.
You're truly the hipster bourbon guy in the sense that like you're the bourbon man's hipster bourbon guy. Like you're not a hipster in the sense that like you drink bourbon and like, well, I drink bourbon because I'm better than everybody. You are like you are like the hipster of the bourbon people. Like you find these things, like you go other brands, like and usually you're right. I'm not gonna lie, because everything you've ever given me has been fantastic. God bless New Riff. Like, I mean, but
I just got 2 new bottles of their limited. So they just did the spring release, and it's 2 corn series special bottles. I got to go pick up.
Where the hell is my email? I signed up for that too.
You didn't get it?
No, I didn't get an email. I was just talking to Ed about it. Let's bring back Ed again, and it's not Ed
actually try signing into your Whiskey Club account right now. They might not be sold out. You might be able to buy them right now. Actually,
what?
Yeah, I'm serious. Now, so like back in the day when we did the store pick, or we did the pick for Power Bourbon, we did it through my mother-in-law. So she's on a super, super secret list that she got her allocations. I think it was Wednesday. And I was like, this is crud. Like you get it. Wait. So she always texts me. She's like, hey, should we get these? I'm like, yes, we should. We never say no to New Riff products.
Oh my God. I don't even remember.
Oh, you don't even remember? You're like,
I don't remember my
sign up for this.
No, I did. Because remember, I got the offer to go do the barrel pick.
Oh yeah, you did. I forgot.
I passed that up because my wife.
You should have got an email yesterday about that. That it was live today at noon.
My wife's like, you can't go hang out with Tim and do a barrel pick, and I was like, but why?
We'll have to do.
I did get it.
Oh, try clicking the link. See if it'll open up.
I got it last month.
Oh, well, that must be nice. Like, I didn't even get it. I got it like 2 days ago. I set all my alarms and everything like that and log in to try to get all that stuff because I love every limited release from New Riff. They're always good. So.
Okay.
Things you learn while watching a live stream.
All right. I'll handle that later. I can't just have my head down the entire time, but yes. Okay.
Sorry, extra A, no T. So. Not at this point in time.
Right. That's
comes through. So
That's all right, David.
So no, yeah. I mean, the Stagg is good. Like, and I don't know. It is a little unfair for me to be super critical of it because I do have like 320, 350. I'm scared to do counting because my wife officially knows the number count. Though one of my students did an amazing thing. I can't wait. I got to do a 3D print to hold it, but it's a touch screen and I can load in all my pictures of my bottles, and it's an interactive menu now that we will have down here in the bar. So when you come in, I'm just going to give you this handheld device and then you can scroll through everything. I'm
way too ADHD for that. I like just what you know me. I like walking around your basement, grabbing stuff, going to the bathroom, coming back, grabbing stuff.
Well, the problem is it's like in all these like cabinets and everything, and you can't see back there. So like for me, it's like, okay, what do I have? And then I can pump it out to a website. So like when I'm shopping, I can be like, okay, I don't need to buy this because I have one. And now it's like even migrated across the room to the storage cabinet that was supposed to be for storage that is now full of backup bottles of bourbon and everything like that. So
yeah. I should tell you a story that the last time we were at your home for New Year's Eve, and just so everybody knows, like the background and all this, Tim and I, or TJ and I know each other. It's whatever. The man on the other screen, we know each other because our wives are best friends from college. So
yes.
We have spent a lot of drunken nights together. It's been a great time. It's been one of the best parts about getting married and meeting my wife is getting to meet TJ and his wife.
I'm just glad this is recorded and forever on the internet. You just said the best part about getting married was your relationship with me.
I said it's one of the best parts.
I said it's the best part.
I mean, you have a problem with hearing. So, no, it's been one of the best parts. But last time we were at your house, and it was the new riff. What's the blueberry muffin bourbon?
Oh, it's the Aristoke. It was last year's special release. Yeah.
Legitimately, I've never thought of stealing from a friend until I tried that. It was that good. And you kept leaving me down there at night. I was like, it's right there.
Yeah.
Like, will TJ really notice? And I was like, yeah, he will.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, he will. I will get out the driveway before I see my tailgate.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, unfortunately, like this year, you'd have to get like an actual babysitter or just sneak out and leave your wife behind. But yeah, we love hosting for a New Year's party. So definitely welcome. I'm pretty sure Chuck and his wife will be coming out. So, and who knows what I'll have by then. We haven't cracked this new birthday bourbon I won in a lottery the other day. So
I beg your pardon?
Yeah. Shazam!
What do you mean you won a birthday bourbon in a lot? Is that last year's birthday bourbon?
Yeah.
Folks, this man is complaining about not finding Jack Daniel's Twice Barrel, and he won a birthday bourbon from last year in May of 2023.
So it's a funny story. So one of the liquor stores we go to that I very much love is Westport Whiskey and Wine. And it was owned by a wonderful guy named Chris, and he decided to sell because he's getting up there and he wants to retire and totally earns it and everything like that. Smartest man I know. When he sold, he was like, part of the thing was, I still get to do all the single barrel selections. And the new owner's like, yeah, no problem, good deal. So they had this big party for him for switching ownerships and everything like that. And part of that was a lottery and a raffle. And so no purchase necessary, go there, everything like that. Westport's always been amazing, always put everything at MSRP and everything like that. And it was one of my go-to stores. It's where I got your Kentucky Spirit pick.
And that was an awesome pick.
Yeah.
Awesome pick.
And their picks, I can still absolutely recommend going to them for picks, but under the new ownership, unfortunately, special bottles have kind of gone up in price and nobody knew this. So going into this thing, we're all sitting there and then they do the lottery and I'm the third ticket called. And so I'm like, Okay, so we thought they were going to do it outside with like the microphone and everything like that. No, they do it inside and just scream really loud. So we like all pack in, get in there. Third ticket called's mine, and so I'm hustling to like claim my ticket because
they're already screaming for the next one.
Right. Well, that, and I saw a Heaven Hill 17-year-old on the shelf of things you could pick, and it was just a shelf, and then you just run up there and pick whatever you want. And out of everything I've tried in the last 2 years, that Heaven Hill 17-year is probably top 2 of all time. It just absolutely amazing.
We had it together in Effingham.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, as my wife points out, while holding a toddler, because she was outside. There's no way they're going to be dumb enough to try to pack everyone inside. And I just see people like running inside. So I'm at this point, like, I don't give two cruds what's going on. Like, I'm going where the people are because that's generally where the bourbon is. So I run in there and everything like that. And they call my number. And so I'm like running up and going over there. And as I'm running into the back room where the stuff is, the guy coming in, who was the first ticket, has the Heaven Hill 17. I'm like, oh, crud. So I get to the table while still holding a toddler. And they're like, do you want us to take your other tickets? I'm like, no, I don't want you to take my other tickets. This is a ticket this winner. Like, here, you have this one. And then I look, and there's like a Willet Purple Top. There's a couple Lot Bs. There's a Pappy 15, things like that. And I'm like, yeah, some of those would be good, but there's a birthday bourbon. And I'm like, I just finished my other birthday bourbon. I don't have one right now. And it's one of those, if Cody knows, anyone who ever comes over to the house and comes down to the bar and wants bourbon, I don't care if you're brand new. I don't care if you're seasoned at bourbon drinking. If you look and say, hey, I want to try the birthday bourbon, you can try the birthday bourbon. I don't really care. So it's like, I don't have a birthday bourbon. I grab it and I go up, and the guy in front of me got, I think it was a Lot B, and he rings it up, and they're like $375. I was like, what? Like, because this place has always been MSRP. And even he's like, what the heck are you talking? This is $100. Like this. And they were like, well, and like, they stopped calling numbers and everything like that. And they're like, sir, like, if you want to take it back, you can do something other. And so like, I'm at this point, like, thank God I didn't grab the Willet Purple Top. They're probably going to charge $1,000 for that one. But anyway, so it finalizes that he's like, whatever. Like at that point, yes, birthday over Pappy 15, especially after hearing prices. I've had a Pappy 15. It's good, but I like different, and the birthdays kind of hit different. But anyway,
like I said, so, you're the hipster. Yeah, you're the bourbon man's hipster bourbon guy.
But yeah, so he pays for it. He's grumpy about it, and so I'm like, I'm holding this birthday bourbon. I'm like, and my wife's outside because she didn't come in, And I'm like, how much is this one going to ring up for? Because it should be like 170-ish around there. And I'm like, oh God, I'm so scared. So I go and I ring it up, and they're like $250. And I'm like, well, I'm already here. I'm going to get it. And so as I'm paying for it, they call another number, and it's another number I have on my ticket thing. And I'm like, nope. I'm out. Like, I'm not claiming it. I'm just walking out because this place is crazy. And so, yeah, we're just like, never again.
Where's my call?
So first off, I don't think they were going to let one person claim twice. And second off, the number of angry people, I'm pretty sure I would have been murdered before I ever got out that store, because as soon as they started calling numbers inside the place and people couldn't hear it, like the anger level just went from like, I don't know, a normal concert to like a death metal concert. And I was like,
I've met your wife. She would not let you get out of that place dead with your child. Trust me, she would have whipped somebody's ass.
Yeah. You're good. We're past 5 minutes. They only really care about the first 5 minutes. So yeah. So that's how I got that. I lucked out, paid a little bit over MSRP, but so it was kind of sad. So now, like, a store that I really, really enjoyed and would always recommend to people, you got to be a little bit careful on that stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, we were looking for Booker's at that time. We hadn't found it yet, and they had just put Booker's out. So I was about ready to grab a bottle of Booker's of the Charlie's batch. as I was getting the birthday bourbon. And when they started saying like the prices, I was like, nope, just going to grab my one bottle and I'm out. So now I'm just waiting for it to hit Target, and I'll just go buy it at Target for like $80.
Well, I'm excited to try. I don't think I've had I have had last year's birthday bourbon. And I probably would have done the same thing. I probably would have gone with the birthday bourbon just because I love the fact that it looks like Thor's hammer, like true mythical Thor's hammer. So yeah, no, it's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, I've been very, very lucky. Pre-COVID, they used to do around here, day after Thanksgiving, you could go to Liquor Barn, you get a little wristband, and they randomly draw numbers. And if you get lucky, you get a bottle of Pappy or B-Tac or anything like that. And that first year we did it, we got 2 Pappy 15s, 2 Lot Bs, and a Old Rip 10. And that was when we were first into bourbon. And so we agreed my wife and I, to pop the Lot B, try it. And if we liked it, we would keep it. Otherwise, we would go take the other 2 to Justin's House of Bourbon and sell them legally because of the vintage spirits laws and everything like that. Because, I mean, that's a vacation. And we were poor teachers at that point in time. And damn, that Lot B was good. But that was back when we were first into it, and we liked much lower proof. So nowadays, if I have to pick, the Pappy 10 and 15 are kind of where it's at, because that 107 proof range is just about perfect.
I agree. And you know, I have a Pappy 15 sitting on my shelf that I'm still waiting to crack open. So I think my wife might be joining us here shortly in watching the video. So shower, man. Baby shower.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's
well,
go.
My wife is dead serious this August. We're going to come visit you. So I've got till then to find a really good bottle to give you for.
Well, you just told me about a really good bottle. I mean, I think. Well, actually, no. That aside, I don't think you can give me that. No, I know you can't. But I mean, you missed out on a chance to. So I'm just saying. Are we moving on, or what are we doing here? Have you moved on?
I'm still slowly just enjoying the Stagg, but yeah, definitely move on to this Chattanooga. So I'm a big fan of all the Chattanooga stuff. I have actually been looking for this Cabernet, but unfortunately, for some reason, they also hate Kentucky. I think everything Tennessee just hates. Yeah, Kentucky. So I have not seen it. Hey, there's Dre.
There she is
in Romania,
baby mama. In Romania.
So now we have to clean up the act, and you can't say things like the best part about marrying your wife is that you met me.
I said the best part of one of the best parts. I almost said it again. One of the best parts of marrying my wife is meeting you guys. Yeah, I know. I'm done.
Yeah.
You know what? No, I can't be done. I'm babysitting her parents' dogs. I got 4 dogs.
Yeah, you're good. Right, you're and they're traveling, and there's travel exclusives that they should be looking for on their way home to seeing you.
So, I mean, she was looking in Poland. She didn't find anything.
Poland is where they have the honey finished Blantons. That is crazy hard to find.
Look at me, woman. I know you can see my eyes right now.
There's all types of crazy stuff.
She said, no, you find it, darn it. Right?
Poland is the only one to have Blanton's exclusives. I'm just saying. Now, it might not be possible to find anymore, and so who knows? She'll keep looking, I promise. I believe her.
I do believe her. Actually, speaking of exclusives, so I've heard that Woodford has a double XO at the Chicago exchange, whatever it's called.
The Baccarat?
No, not the Baccarat.
Oh,
it's like it looks like the Woodford, the Master's Keeps bottle.
Okay,
but it's called double XO. And I'm trying to get her to pick me up. That realistically, I'm trying to get her and her parents to maybe overpay for Michter's 10. But
now, don't get Michter's 10. It's I gave my bottle away. I drank a little bit, and I was like, I gave it to David. He came by one day, and I was like, here, have this.
Do you folks in the live stream see this? I'm over here, I'm suffering. Man's like, I just gave this away.
Yeah,
man,
I'm pretty sure it was before you really got into bourbon. But Yeah, I was not a fan. I've really not been a fan of mini Michters, like really good nose and then just downhill after that. What you need to find is if they have it, is the Jim Beam lineage. That might be the best Jim Beam product I've ever had, and it's a travel exclusive.
So one of the things I'm really upset about is for the folks,
even David, it was okay. Barrel proof's better. I will absolutely agree with that.
Okay, fair enough. One of the things I'm really upset about is, and TJ knows this, and let me start off by saying this piece of it. Happy Memorial Day to everybody. Thank you to everybody that served. Thank you to those that all made the ultimate sacrifice and didn't get to come home. Thank you for those that did get to come home, and thank you for those that struggled with everything after coming home. It's serving is a different beast. I know TJ has a personal connection to the service. Obviously, my family has a really deep personal connection to the service. It's a different thing. But on a happier note with everything, one of the things that I'm kind of most disappointed about not being in the military is recently my entire unit just went overseas. And I'm seeing the place that they're at. I'm like, and I'm keeping it because I don't know if they're home yet. But I'm seeing it, and I was like, damn, I wish I was there because I know they have a ton of exclusives over at that place. And I'm just thinking about all the bourbon I could have come home with.
Well, that's like, back when
I guess I can say because I know they're posting pictures. They're in Japan.
Okay.
So I'm super bummed.
Chuck's going to Japan though, so I've already given him a list. I'm like, you need to take 2 suitcases. I don't care. And here's the list of things you're doing. And of course, Chuck's like, but what about wine? I'm like, I don't care about wine. Wine you could probably get shipped. Here are the travel exclusive bourbons that I need.
Right. And like one of them, one of the ones like I'm hunting or I'm trying to convince my wife to order is the Wild Turkey 12-year that let me try your house, which is, I mean, that's
I already told Chuck, I told Chuck, I was like, you need to buy 2 Wild Turkey 12 years, one for you, one for me. You need to get 2 of the 4 Roses Japanese version, and then 2 of the Evan William 12 years. Like, there you go. You're allowed all those bottles in a carry-on. Bring your Amazon blow-up thing. And yes, Dre, so you don't know this. Heather does because we went over there before he got, the night before he got married. He's now up to like, I think it's like 350, 400 bottles of wine in his wine cellar. He doesn't drink anything unless it's been aged in his wine cellar for like 8 years. So, yeah. And it's humidity controlled.
All right. Well, good night, folks.
When you're the vice president of a company, you have a different spending skill level than a teacher.
What do we think about this Chattanooga Cabernet cask finished whiskey?
So, there's my wife. Yes, she very much enjoyed it. But it was funny. Like, it was the first time she like walked into it. She's like, I don't know what to touch. Like, I feel like I might grab something that's very expensive. And I'm like, yes, you probably would buy.
And we are talking about wine. Okay, just so everybody knows on the call.
So I to be honest, I'm a big fan of all the stuff Chattanooga. It kind of takes me back to my beer days. So for those of you that don't know about Chattanooga, they were beer brewers and they decided to get into the whiskey business. So all their stuff is high malt, kind of throwback to the beer days. So it definitely drinks very different, very sweet and everything like that. And then the Cabernet cask, I feel like adds a little bit of oak, red fruit to it. I honestly think it's really balanced and really good. It would be one that if I saw, I would be completely okay having on my bar and drinking. It would be fun to compare to, I think, like the Driftless Glen Port finished and things like that.
I've had the going back to Ed and Safeway, and again, plug for Safeways in Chicagoland, especially the one in Hinsdale where Ed's at. They did a Chattanooga. I think they did a barrel pick, which I really, really enjoyed. Maybe it's not a barrel pick. I can't remember off the top of my head, but this one,
they've started doing a few barrel picks. You got to be on an exclusive list, but I bet you that he's got enough buying power. He could probably be on that list.
It might be a barrel pick, and I'm trying to. No, you know what? I think it's actually they did a rye, a malted rye recently,
Okay.
and I'm thinking that's what it was because I remember because I have a Hard Truth Masters Collection malted rye that it's good, but I thought the Chattanooga was better, and I wasn't a huge fan of the Cabernet cask finish one. To start with, it definitely is drinking better this time around, and I'm enjoying it a lot more. Coming off what as Tim pointed out, the ethanol forward Stagg and the high proof on the Stagg. This one is drinking a lot. It's a welcome, refreshing reprieve from the Stagg. But there is something at the back that I'm not a fan of, and I can't tell what that is at the back of my throat. As it hits back there, and it's Let me try it again.
That'd be the Cabernet wine part.
Yeah, but I'm a big. I love wine. My wife and I's whole relationship is based on wine. I mean, she,
But you
bless her
don't
heart.
mix your wine with beer.
Well, that's true. That's true. I don't do that. I mean, I could see you and I doing that after a night of drinking, but no, I don't do that normally. But it's definitely. I would say of the three we've tried here tonight, I would probably put this number 2, ahead of the Stagg, just because, the Stagg can be a little harsh. It's not bad, but it can be a little harsh. But this one's definitely a little bit better than what I thought it was.
Yeah, no, it's really good as far as like wine finished bourbons go. Yeah, I think you could put this in a blind with a bunch of other ones, and it would hold its own no problem. And I think the high malt part, which gives it very sweet notes, kind of just helps with the Cabernet part, because wine generally kind of like adds that drying oak element to it.
Yeah.
And so they definitely balance each other out, which is pretty nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a it's got a little bit of that like tannic, to it. It's got a little bit of that, like you said, that little bit of like that drying tannic like flavor at the back end of it. But it's not what I remember it being. I still probably have this might still end up on your bar. Who knows?
There's that possibility. Well, I mean, that goes for all like Chattanooga products. It is definitely one of those. I guess it's just like a Tennessee thing, is what I kind of feel like. You either love it or hate it. I know people that love Dickel and people that just absolutely hate Dickel. People that love Jack, people that hate Jack. And I feel like Chattanooga is the same way. There are people that like the high malted part of it, and there are people that hate that. I know Chuck is not a fan of Chattanooga when we've tried it. I tend to be a fan, but then again, I'm also just like as you, I guess, the hipster of bourbon. I just like trying new things. I want a new flavor profile. So there's nothing you can give me that I'm not willing to like try once and be like, oh, okay, I can see where that fits in. Like even this Claremont Steep from Jim Beam with their foray into American single malt. It's not, I'll never buy another bottle, but if somebody gifts me a bottle, like I'm not going to say no to it. It's very rare I've found something that I'm just like, I can't drink this. Hidden Barn Series 1, that was one of them. Hidden Barn Series 2 is not as bad. Like that is a drinkable. Not my go-to, but drinkable.
I'm right there. I'm right there with you. You see what we need to do? We need to open like a whiskey bar. And I know there's whiskey bars out there. We have one down the street that's got like 350 whiskey, but we need to open a whiskey bar where we can do what folks really need and offer a place where people can go to gift pours like this at a good price, where they can try something like this, and not have to worry about being able to go purchase it in store and realizing that maybe it didn't meet expectations.
I mean, I wasn't going to announce this for like 20 more years because that's how it was going to work out. But my
Heather, you're about to learn something.
No, this is actually what Heather told me I should do. So my end goal in like 20 years when we retire is to open a business, which is just like you come in and it's just like, you know, a tasting bar basically, because there's one where her parents have their retirement house. There's one up there, and that's literally what it is. It's just like this big room, and it's just shelves and shelves of whiskey, and it's just some guy that has it. And he's like, "Here, come try something," blah blah blah, and reasonable price pours. I was like, I could do this. Like that would be a fun like retirement thing. So like I just, you know, give a donation to the business. That is my business of all my bourbon. And then I now have a giant space with all my bourbon listed out. And I just sit there and talk to people all day and drink bourbon all day. And that is called retirement. So, sounds wonderful.
So Andrea, I don't know if you're still here, babe. We've had this apparently Siri found her. We've had the same conversation here in our town. We live in Western Springs, just a suburb of Chicago. And one of the things that this town has everything. One of the things that's missing though is like a legit liquor store. And what we've talked about doing like a liquor store, but that has like the tasting bar. So like, we'll have the Chattanooga Cabernet finished, Cabernet cask finished, Chattanooga whiskey here. And you can try a sample of it, but we'll have a couple bottles on the shelf if you'd like to walk out with a bottle. So I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
And I've actually, a friend of mine, his name is Tom. He just started a restaurant in DeKalb. He's just retired from the military. So speaking of Memorial Day, it's called Class 6. And it is a charcuterie, wine, and whiskey place. And like, same concept. So I'm right there with you, TJ. Maybe what we do is we open up we just start a franchisee, and you. I
say we just open up one, and then that way you and I and a couple other people get to do the store picks. No, we don't. No. We don't need to do it in Louisville because there's too much of that in Louisville. We need to go someplace slightly different, and then we're okay.
Well, you're not moving to Illinois, so where are we going?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. We'll figure it out. At the end of the day, it really comes down to where our wives want to move because they're the breadwinners in both our families, and so we just need to agree with them.
Yeah, agreed. Well, yeah, but yes. David, how's everything looking down there? Do you guys need
in Texas?
There you go, a charcuterie and wine and a liquor store down there. You guys need one?
Mm-hmm.
So what are you moving to now that we've gone through these three? And wait, let's do the rankings real quick. So how would you rank these three samples? Where do they fall for you?
I think I'm gonna go the Jack and then the Chat and then the Stagg is where I'm headed. They're all very, very good. There's not a really bad one, but I like the uniqueness of the Jack, and then I like the everyday supposedly availability of the Chattanooga, and definitely the price point of that. And then, the Stagg is good, but I feel like rare breed is better, and I've been that way for a while. Like I chose, if you've watched the channel long enough, you know that I've chose regular rare breed over big boy Stagg a couple times in blinds. So, that's just where I am.
I hear you. I'd have the same ranking too. And that's not to say that that this version of Stagg is a bad choice, but coming off of the Jack Daniels to that, there's just a noticeable difference there where it doesn't hit the right notes for me.
Yeah.
But like I said, I've had another Stagg where, to me, that was almost, I wouldn't call it undrinkable, but I would just say it's just, it's just not what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So I see. So Tim is pulling out the Elijah Craig, the barrel proof. What is that?
This is B523. I just found it today, and it is the first Elijah Craig barrel proof that is not 12 years. So would love to let's see. So David says, would love a new liquor store with interesting offerings. Absolutely.
David, just admit you just like to hang out at a liquor store with us and drink and shoot the shit.
Most people would. But yeah, right. So this Elijah Craig is the first ever in the barrel proof lineup that is not 12 years. So they refiled for the TTB, and they removed age statement of 12 years. And so this one is actually 11 years, 5 months. And there's a lot of people that are like all upset. So I have mixed feelings on it. So I've had some really good Elijah Craig barrel proofs that are younger. And so like part of me is like, I trust them to do a good product. David says, I am a fan of drinking. I mean, I think we all are.
Yeah. I mean, that's why we're here, right?
Yep. No, we're here for the taste. It's wonderful. It just happens to happen in this form. Because, in Texas, we could also do barbecue. There we go. Now we're talking like smoking. We could do
no charcuterie.
We could do whatever David can eat.
No charcuterie boards. We do straight barbecue boards.
That would be interesting. But anyway, so back to the Elijah Craig. So they removed the demand for the 12-year. And like I said, I have, since they've opened up their single barrel program, had some younger than 12-year barrel proofs that are really, really good. That's another one that if, as Power Bourbon, we ever got the option to do a pick of, I would, without a doubt, just do it and eat the cost because I love my Elijah Craig. On the flip side of this, the interesting thing is they claim that the C batch this year is going to be 13 plus years old. If that's the case, then it's going, and they start doing that, like, I don't know, ages, like A is like 9 years, B is 10 to 12, C is 13, 14. Everybody's going to go crazy for C's, but we'll see.
Well, everyone went crazy for C last year, like on both the Larceny and the Elijah Craig, right?
Yeah, generally the C batches we've found are generally the best.
So I will. I'll show you what I'm going to go with for my latent pour. That is going to be the Woodford Reserve Historic Barrel Entry bottle here. I believe my wife is off the stream right now, so thank God. So I picked this up. This is for you folks out there. This is Woodford's Historic Barrel Entry, and it's supposed to be like a throwback, right, TJ?
Yep.
To where whiskey would come out of the barrel before Prohibition or after, immediately after.
So it's a throwback to when they did lower entry proofs is what it comes to. So same thing that they did with Maker's Mark BEP. And David, I absolutely appreciate that you would help finance and bankroll. And that would be why you would be welcome on the pick, sir. Just saying. I was going to say you should pour your brand new Rebel Yell 10-year, my friend.
Well, so unlike you, I'm not. I saw you like rinsing your glass, and I'm super jealous because I can't. Obviously, this is not a bar. So I have a glass left, and so I really, really secretly love this Woodford Reserve, and there's been a lot of negativity around it because it came in at 90.4 proof. But to me, like. This is wonderful bourbon. Like I get it. Everybody wants higher proof bourbons.
Mm-hmm. So I did promise in like the click screen that we would talk a little bit of Marvel. So
we'll go there. I
will say, finished Ant-Man Quantumanium. Holy cow, that was terrible.
Yeah. So, all right. I have a whole like spiel on this, so I'm not gonna try to. Phase 4 for the most part has been bad, like all of Phase 4, and I believe Ant-Man actually technically kicks off Phase 5. But yes, you're right. Ant-Man Quantumania was not great, and it's unfortunate because I think it had a lot of elements to be great. But yeah, it's actually one of the worst for box office budgets plus marketing because you always, when you talk about movies, you have to talk about what it costs to make the movie, what it costs to market the movie. It's one of the biggest superhero flop movies of all time. Because I believe the price on it was like $200 million.
Oh, I can believe it because it was all CGI. Like everything was CGI.
Plus the marketing. So it's the rule of thumb there is always double what the budget was. So $400 million. So now you're talking $600 million, and I don't think it cleared. I don't think it cleared 400 or 500 million.
Oh
so
gosh,
it was a huge flop. Huge flop.
Yeah, it was. Well, and then I was watching it. I think like halfway through, Heather was like, "I'm done," and she walked out. And then at the end, like they're finally battling Kang. Spoiler alert! So turn away now.
No, don't turn away. Just stay here. It's fine. Trust me, you don't need to see it.
They were battling Kang, and then all of a sudden, out walks Hank Pym, and he's like, "Here's my ants that like evolved 1,000 years in one day. Boom, we can destroy Kang." I'm like, this guy's supposed to be like the biggest baddie there is, and he got destroyed by ants. Like,
yeah,
come on.
So I mean, so for me, right, to that same point is that like Kang ended up like ultimately getting defeated by Ant-Man, right? And like not really so much by Ant-Man and like the ants that you brought up, but like kind of like by his own stupidity. Like he gets, right. We won't spoil that part of it, but he just, hey, whiskey knows. Cheers, man. Hey Marty.
Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it, man.
But yeah, Kang ends up getting defeated. And I think what Marvel has right now is that they don't truly like Kang has never been an uber popular villain in the comics. Like he's well known, and to comic nerds, he's well known, and there's definitely a following there. There's definitely a love there. But the thing about Thanos from the first Avenger movies on is that Thanos was such an iconic character, and there was this overarching theme to get to Thanos. Like, because as soon as you showed his and I mean, it was a side profile. It was half his face. As soon as you showed that, everybody in the theater knew what ultimately could happen, right?
Right.
Kang is such a convoluted and difficult character to understand that for them to do Kang, it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Like he has such a convoluted backstory. For them to like streamline everything for the fan, right? Because that's what they did with Thanos. They streamlined everything. And for folks that don't know, they're streamlining all these characters from the comics. They're taking their origins, they're taking their backstories, all that stuff, and they're streamlining it. It's so difficult for them to do that with Kang. So for me, I always thought Kang was going to be a challenge. Then they do Ant-Man Quantumania to introduce him, and you cut his nuts off at the end of the movie by having him defeated by Ant-Man. And it's like, all they had to do was tease Thanos. That's all they had to do. And with Ant-Man, they're like, no, let's give people Kang right away. Let's give him Kang. And then they're like, well, he has to be defeated. Because we can't have the superhero die. And it's like, no. And now with everything he's involved with, I don't. The rumors are that Jonathan, like the whole thing might be shelved now. That Jonathan Majors might be out. So it's not a good look for the MCU, and really phase 4 and now into phase 5 has seemed sort of rudderless for me. Like the direction, the stories, the characters they're bringing up, they're not uber popular characters. I think Marvel has missed the boat a little bit on some of this.
Yeah, and then especially with James Gunn going over to DC, like DC's finally got a chance to like do what they need to do, but like they've rebooted. So this is where I am with DC. Like they've rebooted so many times. Don't do another reboot. Just go straight into a true like Justice League movie. Like make the assumption we all know these characters because we do, and then let's go straight into like the Flashpoint paradox and just do that whole series. I mean, Keanu Reeves says that he wants to do Constantine. Bring him as freaking Constantine, because in Flashpoint and Apocalypse War and all that, Constantine is huge. Like, you're good. You're gonna have this.
So here's what's happening with DC right now, right? So James Gunn is going over there. He's gonna write and direct Superman Legacy. So, and it's going to be a total reboot. And speaking of Flash, so we have the Flash movie coming out later this year,
which looks good.
It does look good. I'm super pumped.
Yeah, I wish Ezra Miller would just get his crap together.
That's never happening. Never happening.
I know.
So, and I already have the Funko Pops for Flash and Michael Keaton's Batman. Like, I'm already pumped. But it looks like that movie's already not tracking well, even though they say it is one of the best superhero movies that they've put out since The Dark Knight. Now, everybody always says that. It's always like, oh, it's the best thing since Endgame. It's the best thing since The Dark Knight. It's not tracking well on ticket sales to start with. Don't really know why. Don't know if it's the Ezra Miller thing. Don't know if it's people knowing that the DC EU is coming to an end, but not tracking well. That's being said, going back to the Superman Legacy thing, right? They're talking. What's coming out is that it looks like Superman Legacy will be the reboot. I mean, we know it's going to be the reboot, but it looks like it's going to be more than just a Superman movie. That, like, in this Superman movie with James Gunn, we're going to get, references to Batman. We may see Green Lantern. We may see Wonder Woman. There's going to be Easter eggs and or cameos by these other actresses and actors who are going to be part of the larger now DCU in this movie. So I am somewhat excited for the new DCU, the new Superman Legacy movie, especially. Have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy 3 yet?
We have not.
So,
yep, that is an appropriate pop. Ooh, that was a good pop sound.
So when you see that movie, some of the stuff they did there with that, with the flight scenes from Adam Warlock, that's what Superman Legacy is going to look like. Kick ass. Sweet. Absolutely kick ass. So super pumped. I think James Gunn can pull it off. He definitely has a understanding of Superman in terms of, like, if you ever saw, what was the movie he did where it was like evil Superman? It was like a knockoff.
Oh, yeah. It was Red something. I forget what it was with the kid.
Something. Yeah. If only there was like a service somewhere where they told us such things, like an intranet.
There might be. Yeah, I forget. I wanted to watch that movie and I've just never got around to it. And it's like, that's another one. They like set up for sequels and it never happened. They were going to do this whole universe. Like, what if superheroes were actually bad people? And I was like, that could be very interesting. So
could definitely be interesting. Flash, by the way, on track for $70 million opening weekend. Not a great take when it has a $220 million budget.
Yeah,
but it looks great. Like, I mean, it looks great. I mean, Michael Keaton back as Batman. Like, you have I forget the name of the actress they found to play Supergirl. I mean, like, as Supergirl, the suit they did for her, she looks amazing. Like, she as an actress, and the way they have her set up and the way, like, they did the CGI around her, she looks closer to a superhero than I think I've ever seen. Like, she looks like literally like she's floating. It clearly has some like type of ballet type of background or something, because it looks unbelievable. Yeah. And even the Flash suit, like Ezra Miller as the Flash, is starting to grow on me a little bit. I mean, outside of the fact that he may, take our children away and take them to a farm. Yeah. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Take them to a farm.
So with that, I think we're going to say good night. We appreciate you guys all watching. The Elijah Craig Barrel Proof B523. If you see it, don't be worried about it's not 12 years. It's really good. I think it'll be a fun one to have. We will definitely do a review on the future. I'm sure Chuck's going to watch this stream later and be like, oh, yay, I get a sample, because, he does get pretty excited when I send him samples of Elijah Craig. But other than that, thanks for watching. Cody, thanks for hanging out. We'll definitely have you on another time. It was a wonderful time. And we'll see you guys later. Cheers.
Power of bourbon.
Hey, he
I got
did
to
his
do
part.
it.